Terry McLaurin just shocked the NFL he wants out of Washington. Is this the Commanders' biggest front office failure since Kirk Cousins? Or the start of a blockbuster trade that flips the league?
Of Get Up this morning. All right, let's move on to Washington, where Terry McLaurin, frustrated currently with negotiations on a contract extension, requested a trade on Thursday. With sides far apart, McLaurin held out for the first 4 days of training camp before reporting on Sunday there's been no movement towards a new deal. Dan Orlovsky had some advice for the Commanders. He put this on Twitter. Can't mince words there. Do not trade him. That is our ESPN NFL analyst, Dan Orlovsky. How did Terry McLaurin and the Commanders get here, Graz?
The NFL world didn't just blink. It exploded. Terry McLaurin, the cornerstone. The heart and grit of Washington's offense, has had enough. After weeks of silence, he just requested a trade, and Commanders fans are reeling. McLaurin's been loyal, tough, durable. One of the most respected wideouts in the league. But now, he's gone public. The man known as Scary Terry just put the front office on notice. And what happened next, nobody saw it coming. For a guy who's always done it the right way, leading by example, avoiding drama, this move wasn't reckless. It was deliberate. After missing the first few days of camp, Terry showed up. But that wasn't a sign of peace. That was strategy. He avoided the $50,000 per day fine. But he still isn't practicing. No helmet, no roots, just standing on the sideline with a smile and a message: pay me, or I'm out. And just when you think you figured him out, he changes the whole game. Let's rewind. Terry McLaurin's been the engine behind Washington's offense for years. Drafted in the 3rd round back in 2019, he's done nothing but exceed expectations. 6,000 plus receiving yards, nearly 40 touchdowns. He's played through bad quarterbacks, bad offensive lines, and worse coaching decisions. But now, with Jaden Daniels at QB, and new weapons around him including Deebo Samuel, this team has momentum. And Terry, he just wants his piece of it. Only Washington's not playing ball. According to Adam Schefter, the Commanders and McLaurin are miles apart on the number. Terry wants north of $30 million per year, closer to DK Metcalf and Justin Jefferson money. And honestly, can you blame him? Since 2019, no receiver in the league has more contested catches than McLaurin. He's the safety valve, the go-to guy in crunch time. A quiet assassin who shows up every single week. But here's where it gets ugly. Washington's new front office doesn't want to pay that number. They're pointing at his age. At 29, he's technically entering the back half of his prime. They're offering something closer to $20 to $6 annually. That might sound fair on paper, but context matters. Terry's outperformed his last deal. He's never had elite QB play, never complained. And now, in a contract year, he wants to finally cash in, and they're stonewalling him. This isn't just business anymore. This is personal.
Now, when he reported to camp, it was so he would stop getting fined $50,000 a day. I don't think that was an indicator that anything was closer to happening. So far, there really hasn't been progress. It really is a matter of a difference of opinion on what he should be making. Terry McLaurin, looking at DK Metcalf from the same draft class, making $33 million a year on his new deal with Pittsburgh. The Commanders looking at it and saying, you know, you're a 30-year-old player. That feels pretty high. If you wanted more than DK Metcalf, now you're in Justin Jefferson territory. We're more comfortable at a lower number, and they just really haven't made any progress toward each other on a deal. So obviously, you know, when the trade demand is made, that's an effort by the player and or the agent to kind of get things moving and see if they can, you know, force Washington's hand to either give them the deal he wants or to find somebody who will. But at this point, Courtney, I don't get the sense that Washington is even entertaining the idea of trading Terry McLaurin.
You're about to hear the moment that had fans, players, even rivals on their feet. Dan Graziano reported that Washington isn't even entertaining the idea of trading McLaurin. GM Adam Peters is reportedly standing firm. We're not trading you. We want you here. But here's the problem. Saying you want him here is easy. Actually showing it, that's where this front office is failing. And Terry's not playing that game anymore. This is where they made the move that could rewrite the entire season. Sources close to McLaurin say the trade request isn't a bluff. It's not just about leverage. It's about respect. And unless the Commanders come to the table with serious guaranteed money, the situation could spiral fast. And let's talk about impact. Jaden Daniels is entering his 2nd season. He's fresh off an NFC Championship appearance. And that success, it wasn't just on him. Terry was the guy who bailed him out on broken plays, who beat tight coverage, who moved the chains when everything else stalled. You take that away, you're setting your young QB up to fail. Fans remember what happened with Brandon Ayuk in San Francisco. Same story, elite wideout, undervalued, threatens to walk, but the Niners held firm, and the tension spilled into the season. Is Washington about to repeat that script? If they lose Terry or even just alienate him, this team loses its emotional leader. And in a crowded NFC East with the Eagles and Cowboys breathing down their necks, that could cost them the whole year. So now we ask, what are Terry's options? He plays out the final year of his deal. Washington uses the franchise tag next March. Or they make the bold choice and trade him. Word is, if he gets dealt, the Chargers could be in play. They need WR help after losing Keenan Allen. They've got the cap room. And Justin Herbert would love a guy like Terry. But would Washington really pull the trigger? Would they risk fan backlash? The optics of losing their best homegrown talent since Sean Taylor? Because here's the thing. You can draft speed. You can scheme separation. But you can't fake reliability. You can't fake leadership. And that's exactly what McLaurin gives you. If you let that walk away, you're not just losing a receiver. You're losing your culture. Let's talk landing spots, because the market for Terry McLaurin is heating up fast. And if Washington's not careful, other teams are going to start circling like sharks. First up, the Los Angeles Chargers. They just lost Keenan Allen. Quentin Johnston hasn't developed. Herbert's arm is elite, but his WR room, it's shaky at best. You pair McLaurin with Herbert and Ladd McConkey. That's a playoff tandem, no question. Word is, Law would be willing to part with a second-round pick and a depth corner. That's not a king's ransom, but it's something. And if McLaurin signs a long-term deal there, he instantly becomes the face of that offense. Then there's the Buffalo Bills, another contender. They moved off Stefon Diggs, but they haven't replaced him. Josh Allen needs a WR1 he can trust in big moments. Gabe Davis is gone. Dalton Kincaid is a tight end, not a separator. And McLaurin's skill set, it's tailor-made for AFC weather. Tough, physical, clutch. And imagine this, it's week 17. Snow is falling, the game's on the line. Allen rolls out, and who does he hit over the middle? Scary Terry. That's the kind of scene that wins championships. Or how about the New England Patriots? They've got cap room. They've got a rookie QB in Drake May, and they're starving for talent. If Belichick were still around, maybe you think they'd lowball Terry. But Jared Mayo's building a different culture, one built on leaders, and Terry fits that mold perfectly. Suddenly, that locker room has an anchor, a pro's pro, a culture changer, exactly what they need. But if you're Washington, and you're watching all this unfold, you have to ask, why are we even here? Why is one of the league's most consistent receivers one of the best locker room guys being put in a position where leaving seems logical? It's a leadership failure, plain and simple. Let's get brutally honest for a second. Since he entered the league, Terry McLaurin has outproduced his environment. He's played with 10 different quarterbacks in 5 seasons. That's dysfunction most receivers couldn't survive. And yet, he's still averaging 1,000 yards per year, still showing up, still dragging this offense forward while the franchise stumbles behind him. You can't replicate that. You can't replace that with draft picks or potential. And if you're banking on Deebo Samuel or Jahan Dotson to just take his role, you're playing yourself. Now let's compare contracts. DK Metcalf got $72 million guaranteed. 3 years. Younger, yes, but in a better system with more help. Deebo Samuel, $58 million guaranteed, and he missed major time. Amari Cooper's making $20 million plus on a restructured deal, and he's not even the #1 guy anymore in Cleveland. And then there's Justin Jefferson, the new gold standard at $35 million per year. Is Terry in that tier? Look at the film, the numbers, the intangibles. He's not the flashiest. He's not the loudest. But when the game's on the line, who do they go to? Who do they trust? That's your answer. And the fans, they're not confused. They're outraged. Social media is flooded with support for Terry. Former teammates Taylor Heinicke, Chase Young, Ryan Fitzpatrick, they've all gone on record saying he's the glue that held this team together. And now he's the one they're willing to let walk. It's betrayal. Straight up. Let's not pretend the Commanders haven't been here before. Remember Kirk Cousins? They fumbled that contract situation too. Let him walk. Had no backup plan. Spent years paying for it. Now they're flirting with the same mistake this time. With the face of their offense. At some point, you have to learn. At some point, you have to pay your people. And look, we get it. The NFL is a business. Budgets, age curves, positional value. But culture, that's priceless. When you've got a guy like Terry McLaurin and no ego, all heart wide out who elevates everyone around him, you don't play chicken. You don't gamble on principle. You secure the foundation. Because if you don't just lose a receiver. You lose the soul of your locker room. So what happens next? That depends on Adam Peters if he wants to save this locker room. He picks up the phone today. He gets Terry's agent on the line. He makes the deal right 3 years. $85 million, $65 million guaranteed, and he gets this team back on track. If not, then be prepared to face the fire. Be prepared for the headlines, the back page drama, the ripple effects when this season spirals out of control. Because make no mistake, if this doesn't get fixed, the Commanders could go from playoff hopeful to locker room meltdown real fast. And for Terry, he'll be fine. He's built for adversity. If it's not in Washington, it'll be in LA, or Buffalo, or Dallas, or somewhere that respects what he brings. He'll catch on. He'll thrive. He'll go right back to doing what he's always done, winning matchups, silencing critics, and showing up when it matters most. That's what real WR1 South do. But for now, all eyes are on Washington. One wrong move and they don't just lose a receiver. They lose the locker room, the fan base, and the trust of every future star who watches how they treat their own. It's not just about Terry. It's about what kind of franchise you want to be. If you believe Terry McLaurin deserves better, hit that like button. If you want to see him traded to a team that actually respects WR1S, drop your top destination in the comments. And if you're rocking with us all season long, subscribe to Gridiron Insights. Because we don't just break the headlines, we tell the real story behind them.